Hello everybody, thank you for coming down. I'm Sergeant Aaron Road, Media Relations Officer for the Vancouver Police Department. Road is R-O-E-D. Vancouver Police are reissuing concerns about public safety following an assault and another seizure of weapons from Oppenheimer Park. Our officers are continuing to deal with multiple seizures of weapons in the park, which raises safety concerns for members of the community as well as our officers. We continue to issue warnings about crime stemming from the park, which is showing no signs of slowing at this time. Yesterday, just after 7 o'clock in the morning, a man inside of a tent in the park was assaulted with the handle of an axe. He was hit in the face and did sustain minor injuries. Our officers were called and are investigating that situation. While they were inside of the tent, they were able to identify and seize 3 axes, 6 knives, and a pair of bolt cutters. This comes on the heels of a seizure last week on February 27th, where we issued another warning regarding a seizure of multiple weapons from Oppenheimer Park. No arrests have been made in that case, and Vancouver police officers are continuing their investigation. This morning, just before 3:30 in the morning, officers were in the area of Oppenheimer Park, in the area of Dunlevy and Cordova. They did come across a tent which was actively on fire. They immediately notified Vancouver Fire Rescue Services of the fire, who did attend and were able to extinguish the fire. Thankfully, no one was injured in this fire, but there was small explosions due to propane canisters and aerosol cans. We're unable at this time to identify who owns this tent, and this is something that we're seeing repetitively with different occurrences happening in the park. There was no one in the tent, and no one's giving any information on who was in the tent, how the fire started, or who owns the tent. Everything in this tent was destroyed, but luckily nobody was injured. This fire could have easily gotten out of hand very quickly, and it is fortunate that no one was hurt. The Vancouver Police will continue to maintain a high visible presence in and around the park, and we are going to continue working with the City of Vancouver, the Parks Board, Vancouver Fire Rescue Services, and deal with any issues that relate to the park. If anybody does have information and they don't want to speak to Vancouver Police, we are encouraging you to call Crime Stoppers for any crime that you are seeing. 1-800-222-8477, or if you are seeing any immediate crime that is an emergency, please call 911. Is there any questions?
Yeah, so in terms of the second seizure, when you guys did the first seizure last week, is there no walking around tents to make sure that there's not more weapons? Like, how does that work? Obviously, you can't just go into houses in a neighborhood when that happens, but when it comes to tents and a public park, could officers not walk around all these tents and make sure there's not other weapons, or was that already done and these are new weapons?
So this is a community right now where people are living. It's not just a park, so we can't view it that way. These are people's homes, and they're living in these tents, and we're not going to infringe on their rights by just barging in and looking for weapons that we feel may be in there. We are coming across these weapons incident to certain investigations, and for the last 2 seizures last week as well as yesterday, they were identified in plain view and were seized by officers. Last week there was 9 guns that were seized, which are in our forensic analysis and are being analyzed to see if they can be correlated to another crime. On Wednesdays, the City of Vancouver, on Wednesdays, the Vancouver Police is working with the City of Vancouver, Sanitation, as well as PHS, who are working in the park right now. We do a safety walkthrough with multiple officers in the park. We do this to make sure everybody's safe in that area. Vancouver Fire Rescue Services also does safety walks for propane canisters and different things like that, which may be a public safety hazard in the park. But we're not going to be infringing on people's rights just to look inside of their tents.
VPD had previously said you guys were supportive of an injunction. Are you guys still the same stance on that? What are your hopes, or are you renewing your calls for that?
The Vancouver Police's stance in regards to injunction hasn't changed. We are in support of an injunction, but we're working with our partners from the Vancouver Parks Board as well as the City of Vancouver in getting decent, suitable, safe and secure housing for the people in the park. We're not just going to move in at this time and start kicking people out. We want to work with them and to get them into housing. In the meantime, we are encouraging people to go to shelters, work with PHS and housing, BC Housing to try to get them out of the park and into safe housing. We feel it's safer in shelters as well as housing as compared to living in the park.
And we've had a few of these incidents happening in, let's say, the last week and now over the last 48 hours, 24 hours. Is there any signs of what's happening? Is this a coincidence? Do we think maybe the weather is getting warmer? Like, what is leading to this increase in incidents happening there?
Well, this isn't an increase, and this isn't a one-off. We've been stating that there's been violence and public safety issues since September. Over the course of the winter, our numbers were stabilized, but our officers are still seeing a large call for service in that park, way above what they have been in the past few years. With the good weather coming upon us, we are expecting to see more tents, and we're expecting to see a lot more people in the park. This is something that we see annually in the downtown east side, and now that Oppenheimer is an extension of the downtown east side, we are expecting to see more numbers in Oppenheimer. Our calls for service are high for Oppenheimer Park, but those are issues that we are dealing with the Vancouver Police. Is there any other questions? Anything regarding anything else? Thank you very much.